Shalom Aleichem, everyone. I hope everyone's enjoying their Hanukkah very much. I know I am. Great to spend time with family. And I like to share over, when it's Shabbos Hanukkah, one of my favorite ideas is found in a Gemara in Masechet Shabbos Daf Chav Gimel Amud Beis. And the Gemara tells us that there are certain situations, Baruch Hashem, we live in tremendous affluence and we don't have to deal with the kinds of questions that the Gemara has. But the Gemara has a case over here that, let's say a person is really poor and he has no money whatsoever. Just really impoverished, and it's Shabbos and it's Hanukkah, and he can only afford one candle. Amar Rava. So Rava tells us, Pshita li, it is obvious to me, nothing to talk about, that if you have only enough money for one candle, Ner Beso or Ner Hanukkah, Ner Beso Adif. If you can only afford one candle, and it's either a Ner Shabbos or a Ner Hanukkah, it's clear, Ner Beso Adif. Why Ner Beso? Why does Shabbos come first? Mishum Shalom Bayis. And the Gemara goes on to have a conversation, a discussion. Let's say you have only enough money for Kiddush wine or Ner Chanukah. So Kiddush is Tadir, Ner Chanukah is Pirsume Nisa. So the Gemara says Pirsume Nisa trumps Tadir. When it comes to the Pirsume Nisa of Ner Chanukah versus the Shalom Bayis of Nero Shabbos, clear that Ner Shabbos comes first. Shalom Bayis comes first. So first of all, an important comment is that, just on a halachic level, why can't you use one candle for both Shabbos and Hanukkah? What's the problem? What's the issue? So clearly, when it comes to Ner Shabbos, because of Shalom Bayis, you have to use the Ner Shabbos. The Ner Shabbos we light on our dining room table, and we enjoy the light, we partake of the light, it illuminates our households. When it comes to Ner Chanukah is not lit inside, it's outside. And it is Haneros Halalu Kodeshem, they have Kedusha, Aser Lehishtamesh Bahem. We're not allowed to utilize the Ner Chanukah. So they really are mutually exclusive. You can't use one for both. And Shalom Bayis trumps. Shalom Bayis carries the day. More important than Pirsume Nisa, as important as Pirsume Nisa is. So I heard many years ago from Rabbi Norman Lamb a very beautiful homiletical idea as well, which is something that we all ought to be thinking about. Is these two candles really represent two aspects of human life, of the human condition. On the one hand, we are very public people. We're busy people, and we work outside of our homes. We have jobs, we have shuls, we have communities, and we are public persona, community people, working people. And that's a big part of our life. That is what I would call the Ner Chanukah part of our life, the Pirsume Nisa part of our life, where our light is projecting out. We're projecting onto the street, we're engaging others outside of the four walls of our home. But then there's another part of our life. It's the private part of our life. It is the Ner Shabbos part of our life, our Shalom Bayis. That which goes not outside to the street, but inside the four walls of our home. And in the four walls of our home, we also have responsibilities as fathers, as mothers, as husbands, as wives, as brothers, as sisters, as parents. A critically important mission. And sometimes these two missions clash. They both require a tremendous amount of work. Parnasa requires a lot of work. Community work, being involved in the tzibur, is time consuming. Being a mother, being a father, a family man is time consuming. I once got great mussar from a colleague of mine in a law firm. We were at some kind of function, a social function, and we were schmoozing. There was a partner in my law firm, I was an associate, and I asked him, does his wife work? That's what I said. And he looked at me sternly in a sharp way, and he says to me, if you mean is she gainfully employed? No. She doesn't work for money. But does she work? Absolutely. And what he meant is she works to raise the children, she does community work, she does a lot of work that doesn't necessarily get a paycheck. But yeah, my wife works. She might not be gainfully employed, but she works. So that was a good mussar for me. Good musser for me. And I take that to heart. Whenever I ask someone that question, what I mean is, what I ask is the person gainfully employed? In any event, we have a lot of competing needs, things that compete for our time. We have our community work, our job, our Pirsume Nisa activity, our Neros Chanukah. And then we have our Shalom Bayis, our children's needs, taking care of their homework, our spouse's needs, and all that goes inside our house. And ideally we have enough time, energy, koach, for both parts of our lives. But the Gemara is telling us sometimes in life you don't have enough time for everything. You don't have the energy. And it's going to be a clash. You only have one candle. Is it going to be Ner Chanukah, Pirsume Nisa, or is it going to be Shalom Bayis? And the Gemara tells us something very fundamental and very profound and very, very deep. Shalom Bayis Adif. You prioritize your home. You prioritize your wife, your husband, your children. That has to come first. It's a tremendous, tremendous yesod. I like to say this over to young chasanim and kalos, because when a young couple gets married, so it's interesting. They're under the chuppah, and the chuppah represents the house of the chassan that he's bringing the kala into, and it's open on four sides. It's like Avram Avinu's tent. Everyone peers in, everyone's sharing, and they are projecting out. And then immediately after the chuppah, the wedding party whisks them into yichud. And that also represents the chassan's house. But this time the doors are closed, locked, the room is locked, and they're by themselves, chassan and kala, sharing that early stages of Shalom Bayis. And perhaps that's the climax of the wedding party, of the chuppah process, of the nisuin, is yichud, is when you shut everyone out. Not the public chuppah, but then the couple retreats into yichud, same idea. Because at the end of the day, we live this duality. But when, ideally we have time and energy for everything, but when push comes to shove, something has to give, says the Gemara, Shalom Bayis Adif. Have a wonderful Chanukah filled with Pirsume Nisa and public activity, and an even more profound Shabbat Shalom filled with a tremendous sense of Shalom Bayis.